That hurt. Okay. So I am basically going to address the positive and the negative and just every part of this game in this video. So Eagles lose in Detroit 24-23 and fall to 3-1 on the year, which isn't bad. It's not the end of the world. Like, second in the NFC East, because Dallas just smoked Cincinnati. So the scoreboard won't show it, but they killed them. They only won by 2 scores, but the scoreboard won't show how much ass they kicked, and it was pretty much embarrassing for the whole Bengals organization. But you know, okay. So I'm gonna start with the turnovers at the end of the game and the play calls. First of all, on the Matthews fumble, he's got to run not into the contact, but into the sideline, like with the ball toward the sideline, not towards where the contact is coming. And Slay's helmet just hit the ball and just knocked the ball right out, which really sucks. So, in my opinion, and basically in a lot of other people's opinion too, that's what lost us this game is the fumble. Because think about if we got that first down, then, or even if we didn't get that first down right there, we still could have punted it and then booted it all the way down and, maybe pinned them inside their 15 or their 20 or something. But instead, they got perfect field position and were able to tack on that field goal and use that to win the game. Now, we got the ball back with 1:28 to go, and I don't know where this play call came from or who thought of it. It was probably Doug Peterson because he calls the offensive plays. And this is one of the rare times where not only am I going to blame Doug Peterson for a bad play call because he's been calling some really nice plays this year, and overall, I'm optimistic and impressed about that. The really consistent play calling that he's making, I'm really impressed with that. But this right here, I'm not. A shot, just a Hail Mary bomb to Nelson Agholor against Darius Slay. Nelson Agholor, a guy who has not proven that he can catch those passes at all whatsoever, in tight coverage. He had the one against the Browns that was a bomb, but that was like separation that he had. But like in tight coverage, he has not proven himself at all. And you can also fault Wentz and this is going to be one of probably the rare times this year. I don't want to jinx anything, but this might be one of the rare times this year where we have to blame Wentz for doing something ridiculous because this guy is making all of us believe that we could finally win the NFC East again this year, barring that Dallas slows down when Romo comes back because Prescott and Elliott are just killing it for that team right now, and I swear those two are just winning them games. The Redskins and the Giants, we'll see if one of them turns on a spark at the end of this year, but I think my prediction is going to be that it's going to be an all-out battle just like 2013 and 14 against us and Dallas for the NFC East. 2013, we came out on top in that situation. In 2014, Dallas came out on top. And 2015 was just, we're not even going to go there, and the Redskins won the division. And now this year, I think we're going to have another Dallas Eagles battle for the third time in 4 years. That's my prediction. But, just that play call, man. It's just what lost us this game. I wouldn't be so mad if, Detroit just took a defensive stand on that last drive and said, no, you guys are not getting into field goal range and winning this game. No, we basically handed them that game right there. They almost handed us this game when Matthew Stafford fumbled on the QB sneak or on the QB run, whatever, and recovered it and gave us field position, which we did not take advantage of, which really pissed me off, and we only got a field goal out of that, and it put us up by 2, which ultimately led to the field goal that put us down by 1 and lost us the game. So, yeah. That could also be a huge part of why we lost this game was because we weren't able to execute a few times in the red zone on offense. And, I'm not going to sit back and fully blame Wentz for the interception because in his defense, there was nowhere else to go with that ball if you watch the replay. Everybody was covered. you know, but still, you could always just run, you could throw it away, you could do whatever. I don't know why they weren't more conservative. Like, on first down, with a minute 30 to go, granted you don't have any timeouts, but still, that a minute 28 to get into field goal range from your own 25 is a lifetime. And, you know, it just didn't work out for us, and we just threw a bomb on the first play, and it was intercepted, and that was the game. Like, that's the heartbreaking part of losing this game, is how we lost it. And just the fumble, and my goodness, and not taking advantage of Detroit's fumble. And I'm going to get to the penalties now. 12 penalties for 111 yards. That is just not acceptable. You know, getting a sack on Stafford for like 10 yards on a third down play to get the ball back and knock them out of field goal range, and then to knock his helmet off and to have Benny Logan low-key showboat about it is not acceptable. And to have these dumb delay a game penalties where Jason Kelce just refuses to snap the ball, even though Wentz is going like this, you know, snap the ball, we're going to get a delay a game, and just being in a situation where you can't burn timeouts and can't afford to waste timeouts. Oh my goodness, these penalties. And then these dumb pass interferences that weren't necessary at all. Oh my God. You know, the one was kind of stupid on Nolan Carroll. I didn't agree with that call, but I think there were a few on Nolan Carroll, and there was one that I didn't agree with, but the other one was a good call. And a lot of people are saying that they thought Aguilar was interfered with by Slay. He kind of was. He kind of grabbed his arm, but, like, you know, that's on us for just making that dumb call, and then for, oh my God, I don't know who to blame. The play call of Doug Peterson or the decision of Wentz to go there with that ball. Again, granted, there was nowhere else to go with that ball, but still, he could have ran, he could have threw it away, and I don't know. I guess it's kind of 50-50 on the blame right there, in my opinion. You know, and then you have the first half where Detroit goes touchdown, 3 straight drives, and takes a 21-10 lead going into the half. How we weren't down by more going in half, I have no clue. How we were able to cut that deficit to 11 points and get back into this game at all is a mystery. So I'm going to focus on the positives now. We came back, and we had a way better second half and only allowed 3 points in the second half, and showed that we could have late-game comebacks, and, you know, it really showed me that we can have slow starts all we want. We can go down 14-0, 17-0, but then in the second half, we could just surge everything and come back and easily win football games. And the turnovers and the opportunities just did not go our way today, and we just were not able to execute on offense when we needed to, and on defense in the first half. Granted, in the second half, we were flawless on defense. We were really good in the second half on defense. Including the defensive stand to hold them to a field goal when Matthews fumbled. That was a good defensive sequence. Granted, I actually don't know if that was a good defensive sequence because they let Golden Tate's ass wide open. And then here's another negative I had on defense today. They had Kendrick. Granted, Detroit was kind of forcing us into this, but they had Kendricks dropping into coverage to cover Riddick. And they were talking on Fox today about how Kendricks has just struggled horribly in coverage the last couple of years. So that was a mismatch that did not work. And Riddick had 2 receiving touchdowns out of the backfield. One of which was on Kendricks, and I think the other one was he just blew by everybody. And then, you know, just so many positives to come out of this game, but more negatives. There are positives, again, coming back, and I basically addressed all the positives, but there's also negatives, like the penalties and the defensive breakdown in the first half, and the fumbles and the play calls, and But the positives are, in the optimism is, we're still 3-1. We still have, it's still early in the season, and we still have a way shot in the chance at this NFC East. This NFC East is wide open this year between us, Dallas, and the Redskins. Who the fuck cares about the Giants? They suck. They ain't about shit. You know, I think the Giants are just going to break, like, they were starting to show everybody at the beginning of this year that maybe all that money they put into their defense was worth it. But these last few games have been showing me otherwise, and I hope it stays that way. You know, maybe I'm just a pissed off Eagles fan right now. That's probably the case, but you know, just a heartbreaking loss. But it's not the end of the world. We're second in the division, and we're only one game away from Dallas, and we have the Redskins next week, and it's a huge game because it's our first NFC East battle of the year. And I see it as a must-win. Dallas has Green Bay next week, which could be a tough test for them. That should be a good game. And we have the Redskins. And I see it basically as a must-win. It's not a must-win, but I see it as one. To bounce back from this and just, you know, go to 4-1 and hope that Dallas loses and goes to 4-2 and go right back to the top of the division. That happens next week, we're good. We're right back up on top. We win, Dallas loses next week, we're good. And we bounce back from this loss. But this loss is going to hang with me all week. This sucks. Like, just the way this game was lost. And, again, as I've been mentioning, there's still optimism to come out of this game. And it's not the end of the world, but still, it's just heartbreaking. So, yeah. And also, I'm going to talk about personnel to end this video. They were getting Dorial Green-Beckham involved a little bit more, but not as much as they hinted that they were going to. Like, he had like 3 or 4 catches, and the one was really clutch as he was able to get inside the 5. But then he had that one play where he was covered by Slay, I think, and Wentz threw like a really nice ball to him. He didn't drop it; it just went off his knee, and he like couldn't corral the ball. But that's showing me signs of optimism too, because they're getting him involved and they're targeting him and getting him the ball. Where were Smallwood and Barner in this game? Those two have been showing me stuff this year, especially Smallwood. And where was he this game? He didn't have one touch. I don't know if he was... And he wasn't injured either because he was in there on the kickoffs. I don't know what this crap is about. And also, where's this 3 tight end formation coming into play that we were talking about earlier in the week in the press conferences? Doug Peterson was like, okay, we're going to... Since Ertz is coming back, we're using this 3 tight end formation. Where was that coming into use? Ertz, I think all 3 of them had one freaking catch for like 5 yards or something. Like, I don't know. And then, you know, just disappointing loss. I'm going to stop ranting and, you know, carrying on about the same shit. Like, obviously, I got through the positives and the negatives and just all the BS that went down, the penalties and everything, you know. Just disappointing loss, and we'll move on to Washington next week. It's not the end of the world, and, you know, we're still in this thing, folks. I have high beliefs in this team this year, and I have high beliefs that Wentz will shake off the interception, and he will come back next week, and he will have a huge game, and we will beat the Redskins, and that Dallas will lose, and we will at least tie the division if Dallas wins. You know, and I don't know who the Giants have next week, but that has no relevance as to whether we're going to be on top of the division next week or not. So, yeah, we're definitely hoping for a bounce-back week next week against the Redskins. It's a huge game. It's our first NFC East matchup of the year. It's a must-win in my book. And not only to bounce back from this, but to get that first NFC East win of the year out of the way. So, yeah. That's pretty much it. Eagles fall to the Lions 24-23. We're 3-1. And we're still optimistic also because we thought we were going to be 1-3 at this point. That's what a lot of Eagles fans are saying too. And that's goddamn true. We thought we were going to be 0-4, 1-3 at this point. And we're 3-1. If you were to tell me that we were to start 3-0 this year, even with Wentz, I still would have been like, you think we're going to beat the Steelers? Like, and it happened, and we beat them 34-3. Like, there is plenty of positives going around this team right now. So I'm disappointed about this loss because of how it was lost, but I'm still optimistic about the rest of the year, and we'll move forward. So, yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and more will be coming up. Go Birds.